Hi everyone, Elle Hackney here, and welcome back to another episode on my YouTube channel, where I like to speak to everyone in the book world, whether they be authors, illustrators, podcasters, or industry professionals. And today I have an international award-winning author, Sandra Bennett. Welcome. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, you've got such a big journey. I cannot wait to hear all about it and your latest book. So why don't you tell us how this all started for you?
It all started 20 odd years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Time flies. It's incredible. I originally started trying to write books for the kids in my classes, and I decided I wanted to write one in particular when we're on holidays in Bali. And it actually became the first book in the series, Secrets Hidden Below. But that still took 18 years from when it first wrote it to when it finally got published. So
18 years. How
18
much
years.
did the story change with 18 years of putting it together?
It changed a fair bit, actually. Yeah, I think it improved a lot because over the years I did do a lot more writing courses. Like when I first wrote, I did a writing course. I did a diploma in children's writing back in 1999, 2000. And I almost got it published. I had a couple of publishers interested at that point, but then it didn't go anywhere. So I just left it totally. I left the whole idea of trying to publish anything. You know how the rejection gets to you, and you go, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
So
and I think that's something that I'm glad it didn't stop you. But sorry, 18 years. Like, how big did it start when you started to work on this original manuscript, and then you sort of gave it a break for a little bit?
Yep.
What's the time frames there? Because that's something, rejection you've had to deal with.
Yeah. Well, the time frame there from when it was finally rejected in 2002, I then started re-looking at it again in 2012. But I really didn't start reworking it until probably about 2015. I was in a group called Creative Kids Tales, and we had the first conference that they did. I'm not sure which year, whether that was 2015 or 16. Now I went to the conference and I had a manuscript assessment for the book at that point, and then I sort of had some more hints on what was missing, and even the fact that it needed a whole new first chapter. So,
yeah. I'm sorry. Can we just chew on that for a minute? So you started writing this 20 years ago. You started writing for 3 odd years-ish, got sick of the rejection, picked it back up again in 2012, and you're telling me that first draft was the one you had to work on.
Exactly.
Wow. So what did you do to that first draft to get it over the line?
I think the key to it really was the fact that the manuscript assessment said that I didn't have any main reason to take the kids on the journey.
Oh.
Yeah, which I thought, okay. Oh, didn't I?
Okay, so that's something to take away. Did you see that yourself though in the first chapter?
No, I didn't. I did not see it until I had the assessment, and then I went, oh, hang on a minute, I get where you're coming from here. Yes.
Yeah. So totally improved.
Totally improved. Yeah, it totally improved the whole story, to be honest, because it gave me a reason for them being in Bali in the first place, and a reason to want to have this journey, because it's a great adventure. And without that reason, I think it was left a bit hollow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gave it a bit more depth.
Now, who was the one who gave you that manuscript assessment?
The wonderful Sue Whiting.
There we go. Sue Whiting needs a plug right now. Sue Whiting.
Absolutely. Couldn't have done it without her. No.
And so that's just the beginning here, because that's book 1. So tell me, how did they all come from that?
Well, from that, I finally found a little small publisher here in Canberra who wanted to take it. And when she read it, she said, I love the story, but can we make a series out of it? Can we have a trilogy? So, of
That
course,
didn't
I
take
went,
convincing, did it?
no, yeah, of course. Yeah, we could have a trilogy in this. Not a problem. I'm happy to do that. So,
Did you
so
have
my
to go?
dreams, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, did you have to go back to Bali, just to make sure you're getting it right?
Would be a good idea, wouldn't it? But no, I didn't.
Sorry, as you were saying.
So my dreams came true. I had finally had an excuse to write three books. So I already had I had already half written the second book. That was half written at the time. So she gave me 12 months to finish it.
Wow.
So we've gone from 20 years to 12 months.
Wow, look at those amazing books. Sandra, how good's that?
I know, it was just incredible.
Now, after all that rejection and that heartbreak, because every author's been there, I see some lovely gold medals
Yes,
on
yes.
those books. Tell
Yeah,
us
that
about
one's got a
those.
short listing, the Speech Pathology Book of the Year 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Fantastic achievement.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then Fossil Frenzy has International Book Award finalist and Book Excellence Award finalist. And there's also a third one, but I don't have a sticker for it at the moment. There's a third one of those. And it also won when it was actually in manuscript form before it was published. It actually was one of the winners of the Queensland Writers' Centre Adaptable Competition. So I was really excited about that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So there's hope. Oh my gosh. Imagine if you didn't go ahead and keep following your dream, Sandra.
I know, exactly. So that was an awesome experience. To have to pitch to film producers was absolutely incredible. But sadly, it was 2020. It was COVID.
Of course.
So I couldn't come up to Queensland and go to the festival. I had to actually just do it through Zoom. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I understand. So what's the latest works you've got going on? Because that's amazing what you've done.
Well, book 4 was released on Saturday. So book 4, the last one in the series. That's the last one. Even though the publisher only asked for 3, but then she closed down after the first 2 anyway, because for reasons I won't go into, but she ended up having to close. So I ended up publishing Fossil Frenzy myself, and because it's the one that's been the most successful, won all the awards and things. So I went ahead and did that one then, because as I said, that was going to be the end of the series. But I had kids saying when they got to the end of that book, what happens next? We need to know what's going to happen next. So then I ended up, I thought, okay, I'm writing the 4th one. So that one came out on Saturday.
And so who did your cover art for that one? Because I think it's just beautiful, all the colors used.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah.
The
And
wonderful Nikki Jane designs. Do you know Nikki Jane?
Nikki Jane Designs. And
Yes.
Is that a Tasmanian tiger that I see?
Certainly is.
Oh, that is such a beautiful cover.
Hasn't she done a beautiful job? She's done the covers of all my books.
Okay.
So fortunately, because I already knew Nikki through the publisher, when the publisher closed, I was able to get Nikki to still do Fossil Frenzy and this one as well. So she's done all the formatting inside as well, and all the graphic design. She's put it all together for me. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And so this is quite a twisty tale, 4-book long series. And you did mention that students inspired you to write.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with this storyline that has just grown over the years?
I think a lot of it has come from the characters. The 3 characters originally came from my own 3 boys. So when I first wrote it, it was actually 3 male siblings. But when I got the publisher, she said, you can't have 3 boys. You need to have a girl in there somewhere. So the middle child got changed to a girl. And of course, my middle son was absolutely horrified. He said, why did it have to be me, Mum? And I went, because in the end, that character was probably the most suitable to changing.
Yeah.
So I've used a lot of their characteristics for the characters, but then the whole thing seemed to evolve as I wrote the stories. The characters themselves just seemed to take on their own character, and the girl, she starts off in the first book as this very quiet, very timid, quite scared child, but by book 3, she's taking over. Her voice just came out, and it was like, hang on, I'm stronger than this now. I'm not going to listen to the boys anymore. So their own characters just spoke to me, I think. I probably knew them so well by then.
Yeah.
I let them lead me. So the biggest thing, I think, was picking the locations for the stories.
Ah,
Once I have
okay.
the setting, I find I can then do the story. So that's a great excuse for holidays.
Isn't it ever? But gee, I like your process because it's funny. There are some authors who will start with a trait of a character, or they'll start with an age group of a character, and that character either grows. But you start with the setting.
Yes.
So I can't wait to see what other stories are going to come out if you love traveling and you love writing.
Well, we've just been over to the UK, and I've got some ideas just starting to go from that trip. Yeah. We went to a couple of different places, and I just went, oh my God, there's stories here. I could see
Yeah.
dungeons and dragons and dragon lairs and castles and palaces and fairies and gnomes, goblins. It was all, well, this is going to be interesting. But what comes out of it yet, I don't know.
And so is that a brand new series that you think you will start?
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
a new series. Yeah.
Yeah. So book 4 is definitely at the end of your current series.
Definitely, yes. Because I feel like I've taken these 3 children as far as I can go with them without now taking them into the teenage years.
Mhm.
And I don't want to do that because my target audience is the 7 to 12s.
Yeah.
So there's no point taking them into their teenage years. I'm losing the target audience. I mean, I
Yeah.
could, because you could have those kids that have read it as they're growing up, just like J.K. Rowling did. As they're growing up, they want to keep reading. But that's not what I want to do. My aim has always been to encourage kids at that age to read and to want to read and not want to put a book down. So if I do that, I'm not staying true to myself.
And so your children now, how do they feel now that they're grown-ups that these books were based on them? Do they like to create stories of their own?
No, they don't create stories on their own. They're 3 very typical IT, I think, based kids, or adults, I should say. I mean, 2 of them are both in the IT industry. So they don't think as creatively as I do at all. I think they think far more like their father does than like me. Yeah.
Again,
But I mean, they love reading the
the
stories though.
yeah, the yin and the yang of what they've taken from both of you.
Mm.
So with your career now, because you've done really well, Sandra, like you've taken out some amazing awards, you've sold books everywhere, you've got this 4-part series, you're going to keep writing. Where would you ideally like all this to go?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think at this point in time, I'm at that crossroads. I'm floundering a bit. I'm not sure where I want to head. Um, I'd love to write another series, similar sort of length, a chapter to middle grade. But then I've also thought maybe I should dabble in something even smaller. The first books I originally published back in 2012 were early readers. And I'm wondering whether to go back to that length again, that junior fiction, have a bit of fun with that instead. So where that goes, I mean, to have a publisher again would be wonderful instead of having to do it myself.
Well, everyone, listen up. Sandra's looking for a publisher. But so do you do school visits at all? Because I just think you would be so engaging with the children.
I love doing school visits. Absolutely love it. Yeah. I always go, since I've had Fossil Frenzy, I always wear a dinosaur dress. I've got 4 dinosaur dresses now. But really get the kids involved. Yeah.
And so how do people contact you if they would love a school visit from you?
Just go to my website, sandrabennetauthor.com, and there's a contact page there. There's also teaching resources. There's school visits that I've already done. So you can see all those sort of things on there. Yeah.
And finally, Sandra, for those out there who would just love to be in your shoes, who have heard your story of the 20-year wait, who've heard the story of the crossroads where you've had all that rejection, but then you finally took it back up again, what are your words of advice for those out there watching today?
The obvious one, never give up. I often wonder, I often wonder, where would I be now if I hadn't given up in the early 2000s, if I'd kept going? You know, I look at people that were writing and publishing them, see where their career is now, and I think, how much further could I have been? So never give up, just keep going. Yes, take the rejections, deal with them, and then dry your eyes and keep going, have another go. And don't always think that it has to be a publisher that does it for you. There is a way of doing it yourself.
That's true too. Do you help out other authors with self-publishing, Sandra?
I haven't, but I'm starting to think maybe I should.
I think you could add that to your CV easily. So you've heard it here from Sandra, everyone. Don't give up. Make sure you travel, because that might give you some ideas for some stories as well. And so everyone out there, make sure you check out Sandra's books. Make sure you check out her website. Sandra's fantastic with children and puts on a very intriguing book visit. So if you are an educator or a library, make sure you do contact Sandra. And Sandra, thank you so much for speaking with me today. I've really enjoyed this chat. I think you've done so well.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed it too. And I hope your listeners enjoy what I have to say, and I help inspire someone to keep going.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.